Hey everyone, welcome back to my Halloween edition reviews. Hopefully I get done with this video before midnight because I really didn't have enough time to get to the video. So if you're watching this late at night, that's my reason. I didn't have time, but I now have a little bit of time. I am going to review Bride of Chucky. I was going to review Eaters, but I cannot seem to find it. I put it somewhere and now I can't find it. So, I figured I'd talk about this bad film. I personally like the film, but the self-referential humor I didn't really care much for. Uh, my biggest complaint about Bride of Chucky is Jennifer Tilly. I cannot buy her as a killer, and her voice acting was okay, but that's not saying much considering I don't like her voice either. But I'm not against the woman. Like, I'm sure if I met her, she'd be really nice. Uh, but I'm gonna get to the bad points of this before I get to the good points because a lot of people hate this film. The good points. I liked the music. Bad point. I did not like how it set it up to where, oh, Chucky had a girlfriend once upon a time? So they just pulled that out of their ass, so the storyline isn't really all that good. Um, Another bad point, people get killed in this movie. The the deaths are far in between each other. Like, you've got some cool death scenes. I like the death scenes, but it takes a while for each death to happen. The first death is a cop. He gets his throat cut, and Jennifer Tilly just magically appears and says, "Hello, Dolly." And where the hell did they pull the storyline out of their ass? They probably pulled it out of their scrotum or something like that. Sorry, trying to be funny there, because the storyline does not make sense. Chucky has always killed by himself. And I'm not gonna hate the movie for it having two killers because, hell, I like House of Wax. So I don't mind if there's two killers. But I just didn't buy her as a serial killer. I didn't buy her as an innocent person. I didn't buy her as pretty much anything. But her voice acting was decent. Um, some good points. Like I said, unless the camera cut off, I said I do like the music. I do like the actors, excluding Jennifer Tilly. Um, it's pretty much about these two these two people. They're a nice, sweet couple, uh, pl- played by Katherine Heigl and Nick Stable. I think they did a pretty good job playing the couple. Uh, they want to run away and get married and have a happy Hollywood type ending, but there's this one problem on the girl's end. Her uncle does not like the boyfriend, thinks he's a troublemaker and not good enough for his niece. But surprisingly, this was pretty cool to see. John Ritter playing playing pretty much the snappy all around uncle that doesn't want his niece or his nephew going out past curfew, whatever. But the deaths in this are pretty cool, but they're so far in between in my eyes because in the other Chucky movies, it was entertaining with parts that weren't killing. But if there's not a kill, it's a pretty boring movie. Uh, Not to say it's a bad movie. I can watch it as a time waster if you cut out all the kills. which that would be pointless anyways because it's a Chucky movie. Um, this one is the only Chucky movie I ever saw in theaters. I was I was about 6 years old when I went to see it. 5 actually, because it's 1998. Uh, they let me in because my sister, my brother, and I think my cousin all went. I know for a fact my sister and brother went. Uh, I saw it opening weekend, and I had a lot of fun with it. Uh, but that doesn't mean I loved everything about it. But that's what you go into a movie for. You go into it for fun and entertainment. And I was entertained. Uh, it's not my favorite Chucky movie, but it is better than Seed of Chucky. Um, and my stupid screensaver keeps popping up. Yeah, I said stupid screensaver. It's actually not stupid. It's a cool screensaver. But anyways, back on topic. The the tagline caught my interest. Um, Chucky gets lucky, and a bad point. You see doll sex. Do we really need to look at a doll's ass and look at silhouettes of them humping? But I did find it funny when Tiffany, that's the name of Jennifer Tilly's character, if you haven't seen the movie or Seed of Chucky, uh, they're humping like all you see are the shadows, and she asks, "Hey, wait, do you have a rubber?" And he says, "Do I have a rubber? I'm all rubber." Oh, wait, I thought you were plastic. That that line, those lines made me laugh. And what I mean by this being self-referential is Chucky ends up saying, well, if this was a movie, it wouldn't take 3 or 4 sequels just to do the story justice. I didn't. I'm not against self-referential humor, but I'm not. I just don't find it all that funny. Like other people might find it funny, but I didn't. Uh, Chucky is about ready to kill this couple that the nice couple end up uh, going to this hotel uh, after they get married. Uh, and what happens is they meet this other couple that I didn't like the woman, but the guy was pretty cool. Like, I had nothing against the actors, and this actress played a real bitch. Uh, steals some money from her husband, her new husband. And what happens is Tiffany doesn't like that too much, so if I said Chucky, my bad. Uh, Tiffany pretty much goes after the couple uh, in a really cool and gory way. Well, it's not over the top gore or anything like that, nothing from Dead Alive. But she throws the champagne bottle up onto the ceiling, and it's a glass ceiling. And what happens is it shatters and stabs each and every part of their body. Uh, I think it did a little bit of shaky cam. I'm not sure. I haven't watched this movie in a while. Uh, but the first death you see is the cop, and then the second death is uh, Chucky ends up killing him. But I do not like the way he kills the dude. He pulls the piercing out, and just over the top blood ends up coming out of him. Like, if you pull the thing out, it's not going to be that much blood. The piercing on his lip. and then he suffocates him. Uh, Chucky suffocates the dude with a pillow, but he's he sits on the pillow, and that's how the guy dies. Uh, he he got like some sort of kinky sex thing going on. He gets his two hands handcuffed to the bedposts and puts Chucky right on top of him and says, the guy says, uh, he's a little too small to take care of you, baby. And Chucky responds with, and he turns his head like something out of The Exorcist and says, ain't the size that counts, asshole, it's what you do with it. And that's how the death begins. Um, Chucky, uh, you wouldn't think of him as having a girlfriend. Uh, so that's what I mean. It doesn't make sense. Nowhere in any of the original franchise of it, like the first three films, nowhere does it say he had ever had a girlfriend. Um, and what happens is, Tiffany doesn't like the way Chucky is treating her, so she decides to lock him up in like a baby crib and puts this female doll right in front of him, and uh, he pretty much punches the doll right in the face. And if you remember Child's Play 2, he punched the the Tommy doll in the face, and that thing shattered. When he punches the doll version of Tiffany in the face before she turns into Tiffany, uh, well, Tiffany turns into the doll. Uh, the doll's face doesn't shatter, and it looked like the same material was used for that doll in Child's Play 2, but I'm nitpicking with this. Uh, I liked the music, so that's a good point right there. I liked the actors, they all did their jobs right. Even Jennifer Tilly, even though I didn't like her performance, but she did what she could. It's a Chucky film. Uh, the fact that we get a fourth movie in the already swell movie series Child's Play. This is not a Child's Play film. If you've never seen this and you want to and you're going to go into it thinking it's a Child's Play film, no, it's not. It's its own movie, which is a bad thing and a good thing. Uh, I do like Chucky's look, um, but it will never beat the original look that Chucky had. Curse of Chucky was cool, I did like it, but it was boring as hell. And like the scenes in this, some parts of it can just be plain boring. And there's a part in this movie where not Child's Play, Cabin Fever 2 ripped a scene from this movie off. Um, there's a scene where the nice couples, they're called Jade and I forget the guy's name, so I'm just gonna call him Nick Stable. Nick Stable and Jane, both are in love with each other, and they're pretty much getting blamed for all the murders. But I did like the acting, like I said again. The music, uh, I have to say that again, the music I thought was cool. The score was pretty good too. Not a memorable score, but it was a pretty good score. And anyways, back on topic about the deaths. Uh, Nick Stable and Jade end up, their friend ends up coming along for the road trip. Uh, Tiffany pretty much sets Nick Stable up to take the two dolls to Hackensack, New Jersey, which is where Chucky's body is at in the cemetery, and they're on some sort of road trip to go there, and Tiffany pretty much lies to him and says, "Oh, I have money for you waiting at Hackensack, New Jersey." And so he goes there, uh, and the deaths just keep piling up. The fourth death, uh, third death, is Tiffany. No, Tiffany is actually it would be the third death. Um, Chucky kills Tiffany and uses voodoo to turn Tiffany into the doll, and that's where we get this Barbie-looking thing. And the way she dies is pretty mediocre. She gets electrocuted in the bathtub. Uh, and this also rips off Bride of Frankenstein. I like that movie, but they totally take a line right from the ending of Bride of Frankenstein, and I'm like, could you stop with the ripping off of other movies? Uh, Anyways, this film, I find it to be really good. And the Nick and Jade's friend gets surprised by the Chucky dolls and ends up moving back away. And he moves too far into the road. A semi just rams him, and his body pretty much explodes. Cabin Fever 2 did the same thing at the beginning. And Cabin Fever 2 ripped this movie off. And I like Cabin Fever 2, but Cabin Fever 1 is better, so much better. And another death is of a cop, a dirty cop. Pretty much, John Ritter's character, the guy who plays the uncle, he ends up dying in a nail fashion. Like, Chucky and Tiffany set up nails up on, not the roof, but somewhere high, and Chucky ends up pulling it, and a whole bunch of nails go through the dude's face, and Chucky says, "Why does that look so familiar?" Haha, Hellraiser tribute. Hellraiser shout out, or whatever you want to call it. And he's still not dead, so what Chucky does is stabs him repeatedly, and then he finally dies. Then we get a death by Chucky himself. He says a thing that pisses Tiffany off, and she ends up going all batshit crazy on Chucky, and they end up crashing the RV, Nick and Jade. And what happens after it goes through a flaming, whatever you want to call it, flaming incident, they don't really have much burns on them. They have a couple of scars, but they escape just in time for the RV to explode. And Chucky and Tiffany, they have a fight with shovels, and they're just going back and forth. And then Chucky says, "Oh, I love you, Tiffany." And she says, "I love you too, Chucky." And then they end up kissing, and I'm like, ew, a burnt doll going with Chucky? Yeah, but the movie's all over the place, but I liked it. Matt Rambo Rap for Life likes this one, but he hates Seed of Chucky. I personally liked it, but Out of hatchets, I'd probably give this um an 8 out of 10. It's not a perfect 10 by any means, but it gets it gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Anyways, this is the third time I've had to record this video because something keeps on happening with YouTube. So, hopefully you all liked my review of Bride of Chucky. I talked more about the film than I do most of the Chucky films. But this film's cool. If you haven't seen it yet, you should at least check it out if you're a Chucky fan. Uh, it's got some comedy in it. Some I laughed at, but most I didn't. Sorry, had to itch my eye. Uh, anyways, check it out. I think you'll like it if you haven't seen it, but want to. It is not a child's play film. It isn't even really much of a sequel. Uh, just its own story. And one more thing that pissed me off. It talks about a medallion that Chucky was wearing the night he was murdered. No medallion. He did not wear a freaking medallion when he was shot. Uh, so they pulled that right out of their ass. And the medallion is supposed to make him human again. So that's why they go to Hackensack, New Jersey. And then we get the ending. Uh, a baby ends up popping out of Tiffany. And it's got sharp teeth and it looks real scary. Uh, and we think, oh wow, Chucky's got a son now. He's going to kill everybody. Instead of Chucky, the kid is a wuss. Uh, and they say he's ugly, but I think he's kind of adorable. But anyways, that's my review of Bride of Chucky. Sorry I didn't put up the review for Eaters. I just can't find the movie right now. So anyways, uh, it is now 12:02. So you're going to be seeing two videos in the same day, but I'm still going to put this as October 4th. So peace, hopefully you all enjoyed the review, and I'll be back with more reviews. This time over, do not disturb. Hopefully you all like how I'm doing things now. You can understand me now with my masks. This being a laptop gives it high quality sound, so hopefully you all are enjoying the videos. Uh, Rate, comment, yada yada yada, like my video, you don't have to. But leave your comments to tell me what you thought of the film. I liked it. It gets an 8 out of 10 from me. So, peace.